Development of any nation. Power supply is our concern tonight on the program. Good evening and welcome. For many decades, the power sector has been plagued by a plethora of problems, some of which include generation shortfalls, transmission bottlenecks, and inadequate distribution system. Some experts are of the view that the challenge in the sector is multidimensional, as many factors intermingled to impose huge burden on the country's power generation and distribution potential. The power sector system, or the power supply system, has for many years been on with shortfalls as demand tends to exceed supply. The unbundling of TCN into successor companies some years ago was an assumption that free market presupposes a free competitive environment. But whether this is true in a true life situation is part of what we shall find out today in this edition of the program. As an unavoidable prerequisite to national development, the current administration is in a hurry to solve the pathetic power supply problem in the country. From improved power infrastructure, increased supply of meters, to upgraded distribution equipment needed to deliver power to consumers. Tonight, I'll be speaking with Usman Gore Mohammed, Managing Director, Transmission Company of Nigeria, and Chairman, West African Power Pool Agreement, who will throw more light on the state of affairs in the nation's power sector. My name is Kirin Umayo, and you are on to Weekend File, the place for news, views, and analysis. Thank you for tuning in as we bring you the news, which always comes first. Vice President Professor Emil Shebajo says harnessing the enormous potential of the entertainment industry is paramount in the administration's quest to address youth unemployment for national development. He said this when he met with them in Lagos.
It was a night designated to create an informal atmosphere meant to share ideas between the federal government and stakeholders in the entertainment industry. Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo said the federal government is not unmindful of the issues confronting the sector and has continued to work tirelessly on ways of tackling the hindrances. He charged those in the entertainment industry to join hands with the federal government with a view to working out a symbiotic solutions to take the industry to an enviable height.
We are not going to solve piracy by the old ways anymore. It's technology that's going to solve piracy. It's technology. That is the reason why this video on demand is the way to go. Once the video on demand comes on stream, and we're looking at November 14th for the first trial, at least it gives everybody an opportunity to monitor everything that is going on.
Issues militating against the growth and development of the industry were earlier laid bare by veterans in the creative circle.
Distribution remains a major problem in Nigeria. We're asking for a more standard way of sourcing for revenue.
Lagos State Governor Akinwumi Ambode and his counterpart from Bauchi State, Muhammad Abdullah Abubakar, were in attendance to reassure the audience of their respective support to the growth of the creative industry.
There's so much that we can use to grow our using the entertainment. We need to keep on talking about it.
So all the entertainers you have seen today have at one time or the other been in Bauchi, and we have welcomed them with open arms.
I'm also here to work with His Excellency, the President, and also the Vice President of Nigeria to make the industry a much better place for all.
Various entertainment sessions featured in the event tagged An Evening with the Vice President.
The long-awaited inauguration of the Port Harcourt International Airport Terminal may have come and gone, with emphasis on the socio-economic relevance of the infrastructure. There are some opinions expressed by leaders across socio-political lines in Rivers State, as captured by Onengie Fineface.
Though awarded in 2012, actual work on the new international terminal of the airport commenced in 2014. With the completion and eventual inauguration of the project by the current administration, The Port Harcourt International Airport now wears, and rightfully so, the true status of an international aviation travel facility.
So nothing is better for Rivers State today than to have a modern airport where investors can come and get a taste of Rivers State.
He may not talk much. He may appear to not be responding very quickly, but steadily achievements are being recorded.
From the terminal building through the several sections of the facility to the apron, the new terminal stands tall as a project to reckon with, especially as one that serves as the gateway into the nation through the oil capital, Rivers State. The official inauguration by President Muhammadu Buhari has been dispensed with, but the excitement as a result of the importance attached to the project lingers on.
I'm happy that today has come to pass, and we want to congratulate the President and also congratulate the Honorable Minister for Transport, right on the road to Michibika Amechi, for doing us proud.
If you have these direct flights coming from overseas are getting here, and they are seeing this impressive structure, of course, that will make them come back. This is going to help investments, especially in Rivers State.
No doubt the facility will also open new vistas of economic opportunities for the local host community, Omagwa, Rivers State and Nigeria as a whole.
We are expecting that the multiplier effect in terms of boosting the economy of the state and of course the aviation sector, it will add to profit making and generating of income.
With the inauguration of this project, many more carriers and airlines would be able to use the Port Harcourt International Airport. More people will use it in terms of traffic. The economic benefits to the society and the country will be enormous.
With Port Harcourt delivered, Lagos, Abuja and Kano are on the waiting list. Onengiye Fine Face, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Buhari Media Organization has dismissed claims by the People's Democratic Party on the Port Harcourt Airport project as an attempt to water down the achievements of the president and his administration. In a statement signed by its chairman, Ni Akinsuji, the opposition party had not only claimed credit for its completion, but said the project was conceptualized and financed by the Jonathan administration. The organization authoritatively says that the project was only 30% completed at the time President Buhari assumed office in May 2015. The group also decries the attitude of the PDP in trying to discredit the Buhari administration's effort of completing abandoned projects on those left at low level of completion. The group further added that the Buhari administration would continue to complete all projects left at various stages of completion and assured Nigerians that the president would not back down on his commitment to complete all ongoing infrastructure projects within the specified time, regardless of setbacks from the opposition party. The waiver of export tariff for the use of Nigerian vessels is one of the recommendations made by the Nigerian Fleet Implementation Committee that will trigger an era of growth and sustainability in shipping business in the country. Members of the committee were at the Ministry of Budget and National Planning in Abuja. Oyinaya Kalioka, there's so small.
Records from the National Bureau of Statistics show that more than 5,000 vessels entered Nigerian ports in 2015, but only an insignificant number are Nigerian vessels. Despite being a major oil producer, Nigeria gains little or nothing from this huge traffic of cargoes. This necessitated the decision by the Minister of Transportation, Chibike Rotimi Amechi, to correct the imbalance by setting up a committee in 2016.
The effort of this government in getting this established is genuine, but there are some fundamental challenges.
In fulfillment of its mandate, the committee visited the Ministry of Budget and National Planning to present some recommendations of fiscal incentives for the growth and sustainability of the Nigerian shipping industry.
We want zero import duty on vessels, application of tonnage tax, abolished treasury, and many of them as we have listed.
Minister of Budget and National Planning, Udo Udoma, acknowledged the proactive measures taken by the committee to tackle the transportation problems. He promised to work with the committee to achieve results.
I'm very excited about what I'm hearing. This is because the focus of your committee is consistent with the thrust of the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan. It is really what we're trying to achieve.
The committee had earlier presented the fiscal incentives to the Vice President and the Economic Management team. Oyina Kaluoka, NTA News.
Bauchi State Government has reaffirmed commitment towards improving the welfare of traditional rulers in the state. Adamu Haruna Adams reports.
The State Governor, Mohammed Abubakar, made the reaffirmation when presenting vehicles to the 6 emirs in the state. Governor Abubakar also assured the traditional rulers of his administration's support and solicited their prayers and continued contribution to peace, unity, and development of Bauchi State. On behalf of the traditional rulers, the Emir of Bauchi and Chairman Bauchi State Council of Emirs, Alhaji Ruwan Suleiman Adamu, thanked the governor for the gesture and prayed for peace and prosperity of the state. In Bauchi, Adamu Haruna Adams, NTA News.
The Nigerian Air Force says it will maximize its air power in combating threats to national security. Chief of Air Staff Air Marshal Sadiq Babar Abubakar said this in a message to the graduation of air safety officers in Kaduna. Suleiman Abdullahi Rigachikum reports.
65 officers after 12 weeks of training in 10 different modules, fundamental to flight safety, operational activities, which include identifying hazards and ways to avert aircraft accidents, among other safety measures. In a message, the Chief of Air Staff Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar says the training is in line with his mission to reposition the force through capacity building for effective air power in response to Nigeria's security imperatives.
I join you not to rest on your oars and forge further for embarking on self-development efforts through persistent, steady, and continuous research. This is to help sustain the foundation of safety that has been entrenched in you.
Meanwhile, the Military Training Center Kaduna has graduated 29 young officers equipped with tactical leadership and communication skills preparatory to greater responsibility in combat operations.
As they are now, they are good to go anywhere they are deployed to, but in the northeast, anywhere to counter insurgency.
Earlier, Air Vice Marshal Mohammed Suleiman Zubair has taken over from his predecessor, Air Vice Marshal Muhammad Adam Idris, as the new Air Officer commanding Air Training Command Kaduna. I am Suleiman Abdullahi Rigachkun, NTA News.
Former Minister of Defense Lieutenant General Theophilus Danjuma has urged worthy individuals in the country to complement government's effort by investing in education, especially in the northern part of Nigeria. General Danjuma said this as a special guest of honor at the 5th convocation ceremony of Bayes University, Abuja. Abdullahi Musa Suleja was there for NTA News.
This is Bayes University, Abuja, described by many as a young but well-grounded private university that stands tall among its peers. This 5th convocation of the university provides another opportunity to discuss strides recorded within a short period. Special guest of honor, General Danjuma, said more Bayes universities are needed from young, vibrant and well-to-do individuals to provide and improve the standard of education in the north.
We cannot leave education in the hands of government alone. Private individuals like Dutty should strive to set up secondary schools and universities.
The National Universities Commission, being the flagship regulatory agency in the country, will remain steadfast in ensuring the qualitative and orderly development of degree awarding institutions and the universities.
The visitor to the university and Emir of Zazzau, Alhaji Shehu Idris, was represented by the Chairman Board of Trustees of the University, Alhaji Ahmadu Abubakar. 230 graduates were conferred with degrees in various disciplines from 3 faculties of the university, with Nengi Ibama emerging the overall. The Pro-Chancellor and founder of Bayes University, Dr. Yusuf Datti Baba Ahmad, urged the graduating students to be good ambassadors of the university. At a pre-convocation lecture, U.S. Ambassador to Nigeria, represented by Cultural Affairs Officer Stalin David, spoke on set goals and make a difference. Abdullahi Musa Suleja, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Old Boys Association of Government Secondary School, Damaturu, has resolved to establish a foundation to generate funds for their alma mater. This decision was reached at the maiden meeting of the association held in Abuja. Ahmed Ondas reports.
Mood and batters at the reunion of the boys and girls that are now men and women show how far the old students that parted for more than 40 years have come. The nostalgic and great feelings of the old school days, where nicknames and pranks of old colleagues were relived, set the tone for the reunion.
And for 41 years, most of them have not met. They are meeting today for the first time after 41 years. So it was just joy and joy and joy all through.
Oh, I tell you, it's so fantastic. I really enjoy the reunion. Some of them are meeting them for the first time after 41 years.
I am extremely excited.
With jokes and batters over, the old boys settled for serious business, giving back and supporting their alma mater in particular, and their region, which has in recent suffered setback in education as their next target.
We are going to reunite ourselves, Old Boys Association, if properly harnessed, can do good for this country.
Awards were given to some old students, but the most outstanding award was to the best footballer of all seasons in the school, whose quest to have a football boot then never came to be.
After 40 years now, they got a boot my size to shut me up.
The old boys remember their departed mates by observing a minute silence. Ahmed Ondas Ahmed, NTA News.
It was a successful event for participants at the 2018 Africa Show. Adebola Brooklyn Sunday reports that the parties involved in the event rated Nigeria high for professionally organizing a world-class show.
The 2018 Africast is the 12th in the series, and like the saying goes, anything that has a beginning must surely have an end. They came, they saw, and conquered. Some of them say they are not going back the way they came.
There are so many things I see on the internet, and I think, before you order for it, before it comes, all these things are already present here. And what that means is that in competing with the world, in terms of technology, Nigeria is ready.
In this Africa, I believe since so many companies come here to working together to help to revive the Nigeria broadcasting industry.
For NTA and ITS, it will always be home for us to surf through and see the best equipment that could work for us, could work for our platform, to be able to chunk out quality signals.
The new broadcast outfit are also very happy that they can make business contacts and decisions about what they're going to procure. The reason is simply that our industry is growing. This is going to become the biggest television industry on the African continent.
As they traveled back to their different destinations, it is the expectation of all that before the next Africast in 2 years' time, their deliberations would have yielded the desired results. Adebola, Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
Now, the 31st National Council for Arts and Culture 2018 has ended in Port Harcourt with the rich culture of Nigeria showcased to the world amidst colorful display of participants. Ruth Aguale monitored the ceremony and now reports.
Described as a masterstroke, the week-long event was a celebration of culture, creativity, and arts at its peak. The festival principally brings to the fore the rich cultural heritage of the nation, focusing on capacity building to equip young creative minds and skills acquisition for self-sufficiency and for sustainable growth. The 25 states and the FCT who participated in the festival were on parade to showcase the beauty of Nigeria's diversity. The Director General of National Council for Arts and Culture, Otumba Olusegun Runshewe, commended the host city for the remarkable strides in making the festival a success.
Can anybody tell me a reason why we should disagree in this country? See the colors, the beauty of a great country blessed by God.
Governor Nyesom Wike, who was full of praises on the organizers, highlighted on what made Rivers State unique among its peers.
Rivers State is a place anybody can go to. The Rivers State is safe. The Rivers State is secured. The Rivers State is a tourist area. I don't see it as competition. I see it as people who have come together to showcase the cultural heritage of our people, to showcase that Nigeria, in unity and diversity, we live together.
Awards and certificates with a token of 5 million naira were presented to all the states who participated in the festival in the different categories. The overall position for NAFES 2018 went to Rivers State, Bayelsa State came second, and Ondo came third position. Edo State will host the next festival in 2019. Ruth Aguale, NTA News.
Thank you, Ruth. That's a great cultural display there. Nigerians have been urged to constantly check themselves medically, especially for cancer, to ensure early detection. The advice was given during an awareness walk in Abuja to improve cancer care in Nigeria. The work, which was organized by Medicaid Cancer Foundation, is aimed at free cancer screening, provision of diagnostic and treatment support to indigent cancer patients. Debola Brooklyn Sunday reports that the cancer awareness walk is supported by the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, as well as Kebbi State government.
Records from the World Health Organization show that 7 out of 10 cancer patients die in Nigeria every year. To reduce the number, medical practitioners, caregivers, and other participants embarked on a 5-kilometer walk from Aminu Kano Way through Ademola Adetokunbo Crescent and Kashim Ibrahim Way, chanting the slogan, "Walk Away Cancer."
Though deadly, but there can be life after cancer. The prerequisite is early detection. The reason organizers have put together this show to walk away and learn more about cancer.
There's out-of-pocket treatments, there's insurance, and we just spoke about how we need to include cancer treatment in the Nigerian health insurance scheme.
And also we are creating platforms which people can get help. We are sensitizing them, we are telling them it's curable when it's detected on time.
Private participation from government agencies, individuals, families, children, everybody, because cancer touches everybody.
Wife of the president gave her support through her foundation.
This is also part of what Her Excellency Dr. Mrs. Aisha Muhammadu Buhari is doing with her future assured.
The walk, an annual event, has about 5,000 participants from within and outside Nigeria. Adebola, Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
The development reform of any nation depends largely on the provision of a quantum of electricity supply adequate to power other sectors of the national economy. We will get to know more about the onerous task of addressing power supply value chain in the country. This is Weekend File. Correspondence reports up ahead when we return from this break. Do keep it here with us.
Some can think but have no sense.
Sister, good morning. I have everything. Can you come to my beautiful? She's using my Kumago to take my costume. So we will do something.
50% discount.
Thank you.
Madam, please come inside.
Shut up your mouth! So you don't know that with no orgasm, you can upload your market and get as many customers as you want?
You useless! I said, "Come on, the beginning where you come, you get great."
With Glow Orgassi, enjoy 125% more data to get.
Some have sense and cannot think. Some can think but have no sense.
Your favorite Maggi Star now wears a new look. Its great taste and quality still remain the same. With Maggi, every woman is a star.
The National Teachers Institute, Kaduna, wishes to invite the relevant stakeholders and the general public to the opening ceremony of Special Educational Needs Capacity Building Workshops for primary and junior secondary school teachers under the Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs). Special guest of honor, Malang Adamu, Honorable Minister of Education. Chairman of the occasion, Professor Anthony Goze Amuka, Honorable Minister of State for Education. Chief host, Alhaji Muhammad Musa Bello, Honorable Minister, Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Date, Monday, 29th October 2018. Time, 10 a.m. Venue, 3J's Hotel, 31 POW, Mafemi Crescent, Utako, Abuja. Announcer, Professor Garba Dohua Azari, Director General and Chief Executive, National Teachers Institute, Kaduna.
Fake news which is shared for malicious purposes is a danger to our peace and security in Nigeria. Misinformation as fake news is a serious threat to our hard-earned democracy and promotes hatred and misunderstanding between our communities. We are all responsible for stopping the spread of fake news in its tracks. So, always check the source and credibility of any news item. Say no to fake news. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information.
Eshima. Mama. I'm out for food. Eshima. Thank you, Ma.
Amaka, ṣé wọ́n ni? Soap, orí, shea butter.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Who am I? I'm a caregiver, a slayer,
Give them.
a boss lady, a foodie. I am the chief quality inspector and chief organizer. And when I'm cooking with my Maggie Star, I become a kitchen grand master.
Every day, you choose to make the difference. That's why you choose Maggie Star, made from natural soya beans and the other carefully selected ingredients to help you cook the difference.
I am the chief enjoyment officer, and I'm the magnet that brings my family together. Need I say more? But best of all, I love what I do.
With Maggie, cook the difference.
We thank you for staying with us on the program up to this moment. It takes one to look deeper to understand the revolution taking place in the power sector under the Buhari administration. Recent records on achievement, popularly or particularly expansion and rehabilitation of transmission facilities indicates a good prospect for realizing affordable, quality and steady electricity supply in Nigeria. Usman Aliyu has been looking deeper into the sector and now tells us his findings.
It's bright and early, a good time for artisans to begin their daily chores. People like Shegun Aziz has an ambition of expanding his business with ecstasies of modernity for value addition and a dream to employ more workers at his side. But much of what he makes a day goes for buying fuel to power the generator serving the machines he uses. To remain in business, therefore, he cannot rely on electricity from the grid because of low voltage experience in the area when there is available supply. These are challenges being addressed with the provision of capacitor bank for those having similar issue in some parts of Abuja municipal area.
There is another transmission expansion and quality improvement in Lagos. In total, this year alone, we will hand over at least 90 nationwide.
This strategy adopted by this government is to improve existing transmission lines and also provide new ones across the country to ensure supply improves in an efficient manner.
The federal government has been doing a lot to improve the wheeling capacity of transmission line in Nigeria. Look behind me, you see a 150 MVA transformer. It's a transformer reinforcement project that enables us to wheel more power. The wheeling capacity is about 1,500 megawatts.
From power generated around here can be, as long as it enters the grid, goes to Ogwaji, from there to Makodi, through to Ajakuta, to Gwagwalada, and the rest of them. This station is very important and is the second biggest 330 kV station in the country.
Since 2016, the federal government has been trying to de-risk the power sector from liability with the intervention fund of 701 billion naira. There are also policies aiming at attracting investments. For now, consumers say the distribution chain remains the major challenge, needing more infrastructure to have the capacity of accommodating the increasing generation, as well as improving the services, especially supply and billing systems, that are much more better than its present situation. In Abuja, Usman Aliu, NTA News.
In Nasarawa State, contractors are working towards the completion of the new electricity transmission substation at the highest level of national grid infrastructure since the symbolic groundbreaking ceremony by President Buhari in February this year. Hamza Musamakrafi reports.
In ordinary parlance, people call this high tension. Yes, they are right. It is the highest configuration in terms of transporting, wheeling out electricity from one point to another. Actually, this is coming all the way from Ikot Ekwene of Akwa Ibom State through Enugu, Makadi, Lafia, the Nasarawa State capital, is having this stepped down in order to enhance the quality of supply. Stepping down the line is a dream come true because for the 24 years since the creation of the state, the challenges of inadequate supply is affecting growth. It takes the Buhari administration to raise hope, and work is ongoing on the project. The ambience here says it all. It is work, work, and work. This is the first receiving point of electricity supply from the transmission infrastructure I have shown you earlier. And so this is the 330 kV side, and further up the 132 kV infrastructure and the 33 kV. All materials is almost here. The project is also futuristic. It can actually backfeed Abuja and boost power supply to border communities of neighboring states such as Northern Benue State, Southeastern Kaduna State, as well as Southern Plateau State in the axis of Kwampan and Shandam local government areas. Similarly, the project can be further developed as one of the receiving stations in anticipation of the delivery of 3,050 megawatt supply from Mambila Hydroelectricity Project. Hamza Musa Makalpi, NTA News.
Thank you indeed, Hamza. Electricity supply or power consumers in Borno State and indeed the Northeast are not only enjoying improvements in supply, but will soon have sustained services with the introduction of the new 330 kVA line, complementing the already existing 132 kVA line. This development will impact positively on the economic and social life of the people, especially in post-insurgency period. Naomi Boako reports.
The days of acute load shedding of feeders and longer periods without supply are gone, with the improvement translating to minimum of 12 hours of electricity in a day for consumers. The obvious improvement in electricity supply in the state was clearly attributed to efforts of the present administration geared towards repositioning the power sector for enhanced service provision. For the residents of Hausari ward of Maiduguri metropolis, whose occupation is mostly tailoring, fashion designing, and trading of household products, improvement of power supply in the recent calls for celebration as they no longer spend their daily earnings on fueling power generators, bringing about steady growth in their economic activities.
This is Gongela in Gongoni, located close to the Maiduguri Monday markets. The occupation of most residents here is welding and iron fabrication, which has much to do with electricity. Therefore, they are in a better position to speak on power improvement.
We are happy the electricity supply has improved our earnings. I can only describe the power improvement to living in paradise as we now work with ease.
The historic energization of the 330 kV line in Maiduguri is a giant stride in the power sector that will ensure not only steady power supply with full voltage, but the growth of businesses and local industries in the state recovering from years of insecurity.
Level of coverage now of electricity is almost 90%. The 330 will be commissioned and 100% of energy will be given to all our customers.
With this feat achieved by the President Buhari administration, the national grid is now supplying electricity to Borno through two sources, the 330 kVA line through Damaturu and the 132 kVA from the Gombe-Biu axis. In Maiduguri, Naomi Aboku, NTA News.
Now, significant improvement in power supply as a result of conscious effort of all stakeholders keying into the power sector reforms of the present administration. Abdullahi Garba in Duse reports that the state power transmission lines are operating at full capacity to the satisfaction of end users.
Before, there is no steady light because before I'm using I'm generate myself with generator, but now there is enough light for me to maintain myself.
Abdul Jalil Abolushodun has been operating as a welder for decades in Jigawa State, but has never had it so good like now when he works with public power supply at least 8 hours in a day. That is a positive scenario not only to the artisans but to the residential areas as residents continue to enthuse over the improved power supply.
Much more better than before. We have light. Normally, we used to do everything throughout the day with the light, most of our work.
NTS investigations revealed that improved power supply in the state may not be unconnected with the combined efforts of all stakeholders in actualizing the power sector reforms of the present administration. For instance, all the three transmission lines of 132-33 kVA in Duse, Hadejia, and Azari are being complemented with 60 MVA and 2x40 transformers, in addition to routine maintenance. This resulted in positive results.
During this administration, we are fully supported on whatever needs we require from the higher authority. So I can beat my chest and tell you that we are up and doing. We will not say we don't have problem, but it is so minimal.
On the distribution side, though grappling with rural feeders to accommodate the 17.9 megawatts being supplied from Kano, distributors have introduced measures adding value to the power supply situation.
And what we have done is, as much as possible, improve supply in terms of safety for our customers, in terms of metering our customers, in terms of improving on the infrastructure and the network.
Another good news is that the Buhari administration has revived one abundant project, which is a 132 kVA transmission station like this one, which, when completed, would add value to power supply in Hadejia, Duse, and Unguru axis of Yobe State. From Duse in Jigawa State, Abdullahi Garba Kudu, NTA News.
There are regulations against building electricity high-tension right-of-way, but the alleged flagrant abuse by lead developers and business owners indicate that incidences of high-tension casualties in some South cities may take time to abate. The political will to enforce compliance by relevant government agencies is also said to be lacking. Emmanuel Lere compiled a report on the dangerous trend in Port Harcourt and Calabar cities.
On the 12th of February 2010, about 15 persons were electrocuted when a high-tension wire belonging to PHED collapsed on two loaded commercial buses parked under its right-of-way at Oginigba village in Port Harcourt. A similar incident occurred on the 20th of February 2017 when a high-tension wire snap resulted in the death of husband and wife at Rimoimoy, Port Harcourt. Similar incidents which did not get press attention have occurred in other parts of the city. About 7 persons were also electrocuted to death at a viewing center sited under a high-tension wire in Calabar at Njagasan, Calabar municipality.
Yes, I have experience of such incident at Transamadi. Somebody was doing something under the high tension. Though at that process, the wire, when it was heavy rainfall, the wire caught. And immediately the wire caught, the person there died immediately.
I have witnessed one in a place in Ibiono, Ibom local government before Uyo. The cable, the national grid that passes from Aba to Calabar, it happened. About 5 lives were lost and the building was set ablaze.
Despite associated calamity, the dangerous attitude have continued unperturbed as respondents allege negligence on the part of relevant authorities.
People who are found wanting or building houses under high tension, they should demolish it. They cannot be more powerful than government.
Government equally should plan the city before citing most shops in those areas.
As a responsible company, we cannot close our eyes on those who claim ignorant of the dangerous position of building the high tension, and that is what we are doing. Being on road, we have printed flyers, town hall meetings, even tomato parks, community areas. We have done all those sort of things for them to please go away from under the PhD lines. So for all of us to leave.
Attempt to speak with officials of Rivers State Ministry of Urban Development was not successful. Emmanuel Lene, NTA News.
Thank you, Emmanuel, and that concludes our correspondence report for today's edition of the program. Now, Usman Gur Mohammed, the Managing Director of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, is our guest on Weekend File, and he will be speaking on issues and prospects in the transmission value chain when we return.
Tourism Edge Travelog cordially invites you to the Destination Tourism Night towards a greater Nigeria theme, unveiling tourism delights in diversity, featuring first-class tourism attractions. Venue is the magnificent Eco Hotels and Suites Grand Ball Hall, Victoria Island. Date is Sunday, October 28th, 2018, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. the first session, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. the second session. Green carpet. Special awards to His Excellency Senator Ibikunle Amosun, Governor Ogun State, His Excellency Willie Obiano, Governor Anambra State, His Excellency Rauf Aregbesola, Governor State of Osun, His Excellency Senator Benedict Ayade, Governor Cross River State, Muhammad Musa Bello, Honorable Minister FCT, Barrister Allen Unyama, Chairman Air Peace, Guest of Honor Lai Mohammed, Honorable Minister Information, Culture and Tourism, Geoffrey Unyama, Honorable Minister Foreign Affairs, Heidi Sirika, Honorable Minister of State Aviation. Destination host His Excellency Akim Uniambode, Governor Lagos State. Royal Father of the Day His Imperial Majesty Ooni Adeyeye Enitan Ogunwusi Ojaja II Onirisha of Ile-Ife. Chief host Omotayo Omotosho MFR, former DG NTDC. Destination Tourism Night, a night to remember. Our friends from the diplomatic corps, embassies, and heads of missions are cordially invited to have a feel of our rich cultural heritage. What a great tourism event this will be. Don't be left out.
This is my first experience riding this train. I've heard about it so much all around the city.
Actually, I'm surprised that such a development is coming to us.
I was impressed, saw neat, and actually you can compare with any type of train, all over the world.
I could not imagine that I'll be going from Edo straight to the airport by train.
And the environment is so clean, and the ACs are cool.
I want to commend federal government for the initiative to provide these train services.
And I wish to laud the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari
in seeing that this project is a reality.
Please get ready to alight on the right side of the train. Thank you.
Experience, they say, is the best teacher.
They hold us from the sea. Thank God that we came back home. They should not go there because it's not good. It's a very bad place. So they just my advice.
Even now, sir, they are shooting the boat they are going to use to go Italy. May they stop it. Our country is good. Our country is a blessed country. Now I know our country is a blessed country. I know before I for not travel from Nigeria to Libya. I know how much I spent.
Let these personal experiences serve as a lesson to all who would repeat their mistakes. A word is enough for the wise.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NT.
Now with me now in the studio is the Managing Director of Transmission Company of Nigeria and Chairman West African Power Pool Agreement, Usman Goro Mohammed. You're welcome to Weekend Fire.
Thank you very much.
All right. Now, transmission infrastructure are said to have suffered neglect in the past. Tell us the story for now. What is the story?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You know, when the power sector reform was done, the vertically integrated utility, which is PSCN, was divided into 18 companies. Transmission was left alone as an entity of its own, and the remaining other 17 companies were sold. Transmission was handed over to a management company, which is to manage it for a period of 4 years. And within this period, I can tell you, there was no single audit that was carried out on transmission, no single audit. And no single investment was brought into transmission. So this period that I'm telling you, TCN became the weakest link in the power sector value chain. We came in February 2017 through the intervention of the current president, who asked us to come. I used to be a staff of African Development Bank. And I can tell you from that time to date, we have commissioned more transformers, more than what was done in the previous 10 years. And at the same time, I can also tell you that we have raised investment to expand the grid and stabilize the transmission infrastructure. We believe that what we are working on to make the grid at least 20,000 megawatt by 2021. So this is what we are doing. And I can tell you that all the elements that we are supposed to do to make transmission work, we have put in place, and we have all the support and the encouragement of the government. For the first time, everything we are doing, we are allowed and we are given free hand to do what we are supposed to do. And you recall that we met about 800 containers that were stranded in the port. Some of those containers has been there for over 15 years. Some of them have been auctioned. We had to, in fact, the first 5 months, I could not remove anything from the port. But eventually, we are able to work very hard. I can tell you, as at last week, we have removed 708 containers out of the 800 containers. And we have encouraged TCN engineers to install sub-transformers and equipment. What we discovered that several of the contracts we used to give in the past, especially for equipment that we have already imported, we give to contractors. We discovered that it's TCN engineers that used to install them. So they will ask our engineers to work in weekend to help them. So we say, why can't we just encourage our engineers to do it directly? And that is why we are building Substation by ourselves now. I can tell you, for the first time in the history of TCN, we are building a substation even on an island. There's an island called Elisha in Lagos. We are building a substation there. And the cost estimate of that substation, if we are to give it to a contractor, is about 1 billion. But we have spent not less than 100 million. And the project is 95% completed. So this is the way we are working, and that's why we are changing things.
So the story has indeed changed from what you have told us now. But are we comfortable to assume transmission linkages have increased frequency to facilitate more power from the generation plant or generating plants?
Thank you very much. You know, to stabilize the grid and make the grid a modern grid, we need to do 4 things. 4 things. There are so many other small things that we need to do, but the 4 important milestones that we need to achieve are: 1, frequency control; I want to tell you that we achieved frequency control of 49.5 and 50.5 Hz. That is in June 2017. I can tell you this has not been achieved in the history of the country in the last 20 years. The second thing we need to achieve is what you call spinning reserve. If you check our daily broadcast, the spinning reserve is either 40 or 0. I can tell you also we have advertised for spinning reserve and we are doing the evaluation now. This is the first time in the history of Nigeria that we are having procurement of spinning reserve. And we are going to deploy adequate spinning reserve to stabilize the grid. The next thing we need to have is what we call SCADA. SCADA is the supervisory control and data acquisition. Nigeria has attempted to have SCADA 3 times, and 3 times we were not successful. Everything that we were supposed to do to ensure that this SCADA this time around work, we have put in place. In fact, we just did an international conference on SCADA, where we brought power grid from 3 power grid across the world, plus all the original equipment manufacturers. So we are putting a SCADA that will work, and we have the funding from the World Bank. The next thing we need to do is to put what we call critical investment in lines and substation. Now, all the lines that are not working, we are fixing them. Let me give you an example. The line between Alauji and Uweri, Iheala, Onitsha is the weakest in the link now. This line was awarded by the previous regime to a company, indigenous Nigerian company. That contract has failed. Now we are going to award that contract, and African Development Bank is financing that contract. And we are going to award it, and we are going to build a quad line between Alauji and Onitsha, which will significantly stabilize the grid. Now, for us to do that, we need to reconductor Enugu to Onitsha. Now, the contract was awarded several years, but the equipment were in the port. They are part of the equipment we have recovered from the port now, and now we are going to kickstart the contract so that we reconductor the line. And this is what we are doing all over the country. So for us, we are on track, and the donors that are supporting us are also seeing different way of doing things, because we have introduced what we call advanced procurement. This has never happened in the history of Nigeria. Advanced procurement will help you shorten the length of time you spend in implementation of donor-funded project.
Okay, now speak freely, actually, on the current expansion and rehabilitation program of a TCN.
Yeah, we are using, that's investment in the critical lines and substation that we are doing. And the first thing we are doing is that we encourage TCN engineers to install all the transformers that we recover from the port and those that are sitting in our substation. And I can tell you, we have done a lot. If I give you an example, we have done 60 megawatt MVA in Aba. We have done 40 in Umahia. We have done 60 in Uyo. We have done 60 in Zaria. We have done 40 in Funtua. That's what we do all over the country. These are TCN engineers doing the installation, not contractors. We have also helped contractors that are willing to work with us to complete their project. And I can tell you, under that process, that's how we completed Kukwaba. We helped the contractor to complete. We have not told the contractor to pay us, but at least we have completed the project.
We have achieved the objective.
Now, some contracts that are not working also, we have gone in to cancel them. And that's how we are able to complete Damatru. Damatru was awarded in 2006, for information, with a contract period of 18. We have finished the contract now. We put our engineers there and we say, you have no holiday, you have to finish. And that's how we finish Meduguri. Both Meduguri and Damatru now, they are energized on 330.
Okay, now, we don't have time on our side at the moment, but I'd like to answer this question just in 10 seconds or thereabout. You are the chairman of the West African Power Pool Agreement. What does that mean, and how does Nigeria benefit from
the West African Power Pool is just like any other trades. We are supposed to export energy to those areas where there's demand. For information, Nigeria has a comparative advantage in terms of generation, meaning we can generate least cost per kilowatt hour than any other country in West Africa. So we are supposed to generate electricity and sell to them. So, and that is what the West African Power Pool was created. And as we speak with you, we are selling energy to Benin and Togo. We are also selling energy to Niger. But we are also expanding this capacity to move to supply energy up to Cote d'Ivoire, up to Senegal. But we are also trying to step away from the way we have been doing business before. Because before we do government to government, we are now encouraging generators to intercontract with the people who need it, so that we remove government out of the system, so that it will become more efficient and become more business-like. And that's what we are moving.
All right, thank you very much indeed for educating us on the development in the power sector, especially in the transmission aspect of the power value chain. I have been speaking with Osman Gor Mohammed, who is the managing director of the transmission company of Nigeria. Thank you indeed for coming to.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Next will be sports. Don't go away.
Brought us as usual.
As usual. You have no problem.
For the three
You are welcome, sir.
as usual, yeah.
Welcome. You take that one.
Yes.
Take that one. You don't understand? We want Nigeria homegrown rice. Finish. You don't have. You don't have.
Join the rice revolution today.
No other rice that tastes like Nigerian rice. Are you sorry? That's the Nigerian rice we are talking about. Chocolate made in Nigerian rice. Healthy food. I'm going to bring Mrs. Mobu to come to chocolate rice of made in Nigeria here. And see how it are made.
Correct.
How they are cook it.
Correct.
Homegrown rice are good for your health. It boosts our economy and give employment to our people.
This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
All right, now let's get a bit of sports from our Lagos studios.
The board of the Nigerian Taekwondo Federation has proposed 8th February 2019 as the new date for the world-ranked Nigeria International Open. The board said the decision is necessary in order to give African athletes, especially Nigerians, ample time to get required documents for the games.
We didn't see any reason why we should hold our first ever event, world-ranked event here, and the world ranking points will now go to foreign countries, and many of our people won't benefit.
The Nigerian amputee football team on Friday left Nigeria for Mexico to participate at the 2018 Amputee World Cup. The team, which finally made the trip having missed previous edition with a kind gesture from spirited Nigerians, is drawn in Group E alongside Russia, Brazil and El Salvador.
We are facing Brazil and Russia, the two defending champions, and we are going to surprise the world.
I believe they are up to the task to make Nigerian proud.
10 states featured at the 6th edition of the Para Soccer Tournament, which took place in Lagos to create awareness on the need to kick out polio as the world marked World Polio Day. Kaduna State emerged champion of the week-long event after beating four-time champions Kano Pillars 6-3.
Nigeria is about to be out of polio endemic country. We are celebrating our exit in the polio endemic countries of the world.
All is now set for the 2018-2019 Women National Basketball League season to commence on October 28 in two regions, Enugu and Abuja. Speaking at a media briefing in Lagos, the Vice President of the Nigerian Basketball Federation, Babs Ogunade, said due to the peculiarities of this season, the league will be abridged with 19 teams featuring.
It's round robin in their conferences. So if you don't qualify, you don't qualify. So I'm hoping that this will excite the teams.
The winners and first runners-up will represent Nigeria at the FIBA Zone 3 Women Championship qualifiers in Cotonou in November. With sports updates, Olumide Guntola, NT News.
Now, weather outlook for tomorrow is next.
Hi, welcome to the weather forecast. I am Onyelo Desmond. We are witnessing what is arguably the last rains before the onset of the Harmattan dust haze. Prospects of rains are still high come Sunday. There are chances of thunderstorms and rains to affect the eastern flank in the morning. This may extend to parts of Benue and Taraba. Morning thunderstorms are also likely over Kwara, Yelwa, and Bida axis. By afternoon and late evening, there are chances of parts of the country from the north down to the south having thunderstorm and rainfall activities. These activities are precursors to the dryness that will soon ensue and the attendant dust haze that follow thereafter. But we'll keep you updated as events unfold. I leave you with the temperature forecast.
All right, and that's our show for today. Thank you for watching, and we will see you again next week. Good night.
Hate speech is not a joke. It incites
This is the network service of the NTA.
Hate speech is not a joke. It incites genocide and crimes against humanity. Most of Africa's civil wars are caused by hate speech from one tribe against another. We don't want it here. The Nigerian government stands firm against hate speech.
Under no conditions whatsoever should we tolerate or excuse or justify hate speech or hateful conduct of any kind, especially where such is illegal.
There is no doubt that the resurgent push for separatism, as well as the rising cases of ethnic and religious disharmony, are all traceable to the growing phenomenon of hate speech.
One nation bound in freedom, peace and unity.
Nigeria, one nation, one people.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
Buhari can't wake me for death. As my matter be, it be like he say, person die, person God can't wake him. Now so Buhari can't wake me from death. But I not get something when they go give you unless thank you. My name is Aminate Julius. I did poor life before.
Ama ekehonon mehure tumo, umoi kokokom.
I did change to make farm. Then he helped me house. The house when I did before, it dey link.
Ma